What's up, Ravens fans? It's time to hear from you guys in our Ravens Mailbag segment, so let's just jump right into the questions today. The first one comes from Austin Eagle, and the question is, who do you believe has the edge in the inside linebacker competition?
This is a tough one because it's really close, but I'd probably say that Patrick Owasso has the edge right now just because he's the veteran. He started, most of last season after wrestling that job away from KC. So I'd probably give him the slight edge over the rookie Kenny Young. But I think that Kenny Young has really closed the gap here and could at some point become the starter. Now, with that said, I don't think it really matters. I don't really think whoever becomes the starter is going to be your 16-game, full game starter and getting every rep. I think that in the end, this is going to end up being a shared role where you see Peanut and Kenny kind of really sharing it and working to keep each other fresh and really play into each other's strengths. I think that Kenny Young has shown that he's really good in coverage. Deep down the field, even matching up against tight ends, I think that he's really strong because he's a fast guy. That's his strength. I think Peanut may be a little bit better right now at reading, kind of deciphering what's going on in terms of running plays. He's just done it longer. He's been around longer. So I think that it's going to end up playing to each guy's strength and they'll share the role. All
right, I agree with that. The next question comes to us from Tanner, and the question is, suppose we keep 5 or 6 wide receivers and rookies Jaleel Scott and Jordan Lastly do not make it. What are the chances that we get them on the practice squad? Well, I would be a little bit surprised if neither of those rookies ended up making the 53-man team. So I do think that at least one of them will be on the roster. In terms of the practice squad, I don't think that you're going to get both of those guys on the practice squad.
I don't think you get either of them.
Yeah, I don't think you probably would. I mean, you look at Jaleel Scott, he's a big, tall guy who was a 4th-round pick. 4th-round picks, putting them on the practice squad, that's not really likely. Jordan Lastly was a 5th-round pick, but he has a ton of talent. A lot of people thought he was going to be a day 2 pick, ended up slipping a little bit. So he's got a ton of talent that I think another team would go and take a chance on him. I don't think that either of these guys get on the practice squad.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that you probably have to find a spot for them on the 53-man roster, or maybe they get an injury pops up or something like that. I think that the Ravens will find a way to get these guys on the roster and protect them from other teams sniping them because they're just too talented. Last question comes from Zordon, from @ZordanKnowsAll. We should have him answer the question.
I know.
Why are you asking a question?
I know. I don't get it.
The question is, will we see Mark Andrews get more reps with the first-team offense? He's a beast who catches everything thrown to him. I don't think that we're going to see Mark Andrews get a ton of reps with the first-team offense. I mean, Hayden Hurst is still learning the position. He is somebody that the Ravens, I think, are really kind of pushing all the chips into the center of the table. Going, we're all in on Hayden Hurst because he's got to be an impact player for the Ravens, and it looks like he will. So they want to get him as many reps with Joe Flacco, get their comfort level as high as they can. Now, Mark Andrews, I think he will have a role. I don't think it's going to be a very big one this season, though. I mean, you look back to Dennis Pitta, who Mark Andrews reminds me of Dennis Pitta. Came in as a receiving tight end, really kind of had to make that adjustment to being an all-around tight end, especially in Greg Roman's scheme. Those guys have to block.
You got to block. Yeah,
exactly.
It's one thing to go out there in Oklahoma and play in that wide open offense and catch a ton of passes from Baker Mayfield. It's a little bit different at the NFL level.
Exactly. Dennis Pitta, back to that reference, caught 1 pass his rookie season. 1 pass. So, I think that Mark Andrews could have a bigger role than that, but I don't think he's a guy that the Ravens are going to say, we have to give him a ton of reps with the first-team offense because we're relying on him to be a major player this season.
And I would say this, too. Everyone does seem to kind of have forgotten about Nick Boyle and Max Williams.
Yeah.
Those are 2 guys who both were on the team last year. They both are good blockers who are really important. When you talk about that running scheme,
Yep.
They're good in that area.
Plus Nick Boyle with the hurdles just.
I know. He jumps over everybody.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Yeah. Is that your impression? He does it a little bit better than you.
So
we'll end on that note because we can't say anything else after that. But as always, we'd love to hear from you guys. So send in those questions every single week using the hashtag RavensMailbag.